Live from the Marvin Network, this is the BIS Podcast, where our goal is to bring you updates in technology for local government and to have a little bit of fun as well. As always, we welcome you into the podcast here. Josh Green, your host. And on today's podcast, we have Melly Langlo joining us today. Melly, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, Josh. Thank you.
Oh, it's great to have you on again. And when we have you on, it's usually talking about TNT. Now, I remember last year we went over TNT season. That's exactly what we're doing here again this time around on the podcast. So thank you. I know you got a busy schedule ahead of you. And again, I just appreciate you making the time for us.
Sure, of course.
Oh, awesome. Well, let's get right into it, Melly. So first off, when we talk about TNT, for all the folks that may not know out there, what is TNT?
So TNT stands for Truth and Taxation. Basically, it's a concept that was included in the Texas Constitution that requires local taxing units to make the taxpayers aware of tax rate proposals and also to allow taxpayers the opportunity to limit tax increases.
All right, cool. Well, how can you be prepared for TNT season?
There's a lot of data that needs to be gathered before starting the TNT calculations. So I would say making sure that you have all the data you need before getting started. Our product support team is here to help with site functionality and technical questions. But I would also make sure that you have your attorney on standby for questions that are specific to the worksheet and what values should be used for different fields within the worksheet.
I got you indeed. Before we go, we offer services here at BIS to help our clients with TNT and for any potential clients listening out there. Melly, as we get into, as we're approaching the season, any questions that have kind of popped up, first off so far as we're leading into this TNT season?
No, not necessarily yet. It's still a little early. TNT season usually starts towards the end of May for the early districts, and then they really start getting into it in June, July timeframe.
Gotcha. Well, as we're going to get into the types of services that we offer here at BIS to help with TNT, let's just do just that. So, Melly, what services do we offer at BIS to help with TNT?
So the appraisal districts are required to have what's called a property tax database. It's basically a public-facing website that is required by the tax code that displays certain information like your property ID, market and taxable values, the taxing units associated with your property, their tax rates, and then also their public hearing information. So we do offer that product. We also have what we call the TNT calculator. That allows the taxing units to enter the data directly into the state prescribed worksheets, and then the calculator automatically calculates the tax rates for them. It also allows the taxing units to enter their tax rates that are displayed on the public database, and then also produce their notices for their public hearings and meetings, and then publish those to the public TNT website as well.
Awesome to hear, Melly. And again, it's a great tool that we have here at BIS. And again, Melly, what steps have we taken at BIS? Now, I remember when you first kind of were brought on at BIS, it was a little bit of a rough go in that first TNT season. As we've kind of grown here at BIS and grown with our service in this, what are some of the steps that we've taken to kind of make it more efficient?
Yeah, you're right, Josh. It was a rough first year for our TNT clients, but I can say since then, we've worked out those kinks and we've improved each year. The clients have provided great feedback for feature enhancements, and each year we've implemented some of those each year. And we're always open to suggestions and feedback from the clients to continue to improve the product each year. We want to make it as user-friendly and efficient as possible. We've also taken TNT course taught by Connie Rose to kind of help educate ourselves a little bit more on the process. So that's also helped us in being able to help the clients as well.
Gotcha, Melly. Well, we're getting to be about just out of time here on the podcast today, but I want to go over right quick. How can people get involved, or excuse me, how can clients or even, potential clients want to get in touch with us at BIS about TNT? Of course, they can contact the sales team, which I'm a part of, but how can we get them over to you, Melly, and your team?
Right. So you can reach us obviously by calling BIS and asking for the product team. That'll get you directly to our team. Also, we have an email address, product support at bisconsultants.com. And if you email that email address, it creates a ticket and it goes directly to my team. And then they can reach out and communicate with the client that way.
Awesome to hear. And if you want to also get in touch with us at BIS, be sure to contact sales@bisconsultants.com. Or again, as Melly said, always give us a call. Our phone number, 800-247-9045. Well, Melly, I think you've answered all of what we needed here today here on the podcast. Anything that we need to go over before we kind of sign off today?
No, I think that pretty much covers it all. I appreciate this, Josh.
It is a pleasure having you on as always, Melly. Again, thank you for making time in your schedule. I know you get really busy and it always seems to stack up on you. But again, I appreciate you taking this time out of your schedule to talk with us and help us, understand TNT and how to prepare for it.
Of course, you're welcome. Thank you, Josh.
Well, thank you so much, ma'am. Again, you've been listening to another edition of the BIS Podcast. Stay tuned for the next episode as we'll have our own Vanessa Lewis on. So looking forward to chatting with her about that. Well, again, thank you, Melly, for joining us today. I'm Josh Green, and thank you again, everyone, for joining us on this edition of the BIS Podcast, broadcasting live on the Marvin Network. Until next time, so long and goodbye.